I got this comment from Courtney, and I think since we're about halfway through the trial, this is a really good time to have this discussion. I have questions for you. At the start, your videos were very sure it was about her mental health and not about guilty and not guilty, but more about her health. What are you thinking now? Can you give us your views from where we are at? Thank you. This is an excellent question. I'm glad we can have this conversation. Here's where I stand. We have watched 13 days of testimony. There have been 70 witnesses over 2 weeks. And every single one of those witnesses brought forth by the prosecution was intended to prove that Lindsay Clancy killed her kids, not only killed her kids, but she did it in a premeditated manner. She wanted them dead. She planned for their deaths. She strategized everything. She sent Patrick out of the house. She timed it perfectly. That she strategically built up months and months and months of this fake psychosis, doctor hopping, pretending to take all these different medications, and then ending with a half-hearted suicide attempt to garner sympathy so people would think she was crazy. That is the prosecution's case, and they've put forth 70 witnesses trying to prove that. After hearing all of that, I will tell you, Courtney, I still stand in the exact same place I stood on day one. I do not believe this is a battle of guilty or not guilty. I don't. You don't have to take my word for it. This is from CBS News, and it talks about how she pleaded not guilty, but the case hinges on Clancy's medical health. Her defense acknowledges that she killed the children, but plans to argue she was not criminally responsible because she was in the throes of postpartum psychosis. I think the next week or two, when Kevin Reddington is calling all of his witnesses, that's exactly what you're going to hear. It's in court documents, it's in written statements, it's in verbal statements, it's appeared multiple times in front of the jury. He's not contesting the defense. The press has it. This was from, I think, CBS News, but Jesus, go to CBS, ABC, NBC, Fox, any of the local Boston affiliates. It's also on PBS and CNN. I think The Guardian's got it. The Boston fucking Globe. Do you think they're going to lie about this? Do you think they're going to cover up a mystery? These are the people that exposed the pedophile priest scandal. They don't cover shit up. If they thought Patrick Clancy did this, don't you think one of their investigative journalists would have torn his ass apart 3 years ago? And I know there's a lot of people who want this to go another way. They want this to be about she's not guilty and someone else is. And I do feel like there's going to be some people. I don't know what's going to go through your mind next week when Kevin Reddington puts his witnesses up there, because every single one of those witnesses are going to speak to her mental health, because that's what this trial is about. Was she sane? Was she insane? That's it. They've already acknowledged that she killed her children multiple times in multiple places. And you can argue that if it happens here, it's not legit. If it happens in this document, but that motion didn't go forward. The facts are what the facts are. She acknowledges it. They're not contesting it. That should be your biggest indicator. If Kevin Reddington, who I have said before is one of the best defense attorneys in Boston, if he thought for a half a fucking second she didn't do this, he'd be on his feet objecting to every single document they put in. His opening statement would have been a robust, yelling, screaming, fist pounding on the table, she didn't do it. And he would keep repeating it over and over and over and over again. But he's not. He's not contesting it. He knows this trial is about state of mind. Was she in her right mind, like the prosecution says? Or was she a suffering, sick woman who needed help and no one gave it to her? Did she strategically plan and fake out and fake diaries for 4 months to try and convince people that she was sick when she really wasn't sick because she needed an alibi because she's so fucking good at the long game? Or was she seriously someone who was sick and needed help, and for months and months and months went to different doctors and tracked everything and wrote down, like, am I going crazy? Like, there's got to be some help for me. One side is going to pretend that that was a fake suicide attempt, that those lacerations were surface cuts, they were superficial, they weren't real. They alluded to the fact that she actually scaled down the side of the building like fucking Spider-Man instead of doing a headfirst dive. Some of the witnesses, especially Elizabeth La Posada, she's going to get up there and she's going to methodically explain to you every single one of those medical issues. And those of you who have been questioning, like, what about the 82 degrees? That's unreasonable. That can't happen. She's going to tell you exactly fucking how it happened. I promise you, you will have all of these answers solved for you next week. But if you're still somebody who wants there to be a third party culprit, who wants to blame the husband or a wife, and you're too busy talking about Wi-Fi and hiking trail ratings, you've lost the fucking plot. This trial is about whether or not this woman was under some sort of psychosis when she killed her kids. The reason I decided to cover this trial was because I've seen it happen with Andrea Yates. It happened with LaTarsha Sanders right there in this same district, in the same DA. Women who have done this as well and had mental issues, and they were convicted of murder and sentenced to prison. Now, Andrea Yates got a retrial, and LaTarsha Sanders is about to get a retrial. But you guys got to understand, there's a 50-50 chance here she could be found guilty of murder and go to prison for the rest of her life. That's why I've asked people to keep off my page with all those controversies, because there's something much more real and important happening here.